Welcome. This is going to be a short walk because I was carrying my tripod this day and it's too heavy to walk all the way around the lake carrying that thing. So it's mostly going to be about the egrets and the tortoises. I've circled a pair of little pied cormorants up on a branch there. There's at least 3 pairs of them in these trees at the moment. The trees that some of the egrets are nesting in have got lots of fruit on them now, and the corellas are chasing that. The sulphur-crested cockatoos are chasing that fruit as well, but there's no photos of the cockatoos in this video because they weren't there that day. Actually, corellas are a type of cockatoo as well, and they were there, and they usually are too. They're very noisy. There are 2 types of cormorants in those trees. There's little black cormorants there as well as little pied cormorants. And among all those egrets, some of them are cattle egrets and the others are intermediate egrets. My research indicates that a group of tortoises is called a creep, and we definitely had a creep this day. Here's 2 of them. They were all swimming towards me as I stood on a little bridge. I'm thinking somebody must have been feeding them from that bridge at some point, and they thought I had food as well. But I didn't. All I had was a camera, so I took a few photos of them, but they were all coming at me. There's a little bit of video. Not totally still, but you get the idea. They weren't trying to get away. That would be a swamp hen. We've been showing these egrets in my videos for quite a while now, and those chicks, when we first saw them, were newly hatched, and now they're looking like they're almost ready to leave the nest. The little pied cormorants at the top left, the Australian white ibis are in the centre, and at the top right is a young cattle egret. They've got a shorter neck than the intermediate egrets, and the cattle egret breeding plumage is an orange, pale orange colour. The little pied cormorants at the lower edge on the left side now, and that ibis is about to take off, and the little cattle egret, it must have just come out of the nest recently. It's not wearing its breeding plumage, it's a young one. And there the cormorants are just flying off, and that ibis is getting ready to fly. See the orange under its wings? That's a sign of this type of ibis. That's mainly cattle egrets there. That one in the middle, if you look in the very centre of the screen, you can see a little bit of action happening there. There's a parent bird feeding the 3 chicks in the nest. I've noticed most of the egret nests seem to have 3 chicks. You can see the intermediate egret chicks there have got much longer necks than the cattle egrets, and the cattle egrets' beaks are a different colour. They're black beaks when they're small, and the intermediate egrets have got yellow beaks. I think there's another variety of intermediate egret that's got a black beak. There's the red orange underneath the wings are visible there, and that ibis, it's about to fly away. Behind where that ibis is, it's about to take off. There's a gap in the trees. There's another tree there in the distance. Just watch that gap because you'll see it come fly right around. They do that all the time. They head off to the left and they do a big swoop around the trees, and then they come back and fly off. See it, there it goes. It's heading off in that direction. That's the direction most of the egrets like to fly into when they fly off. Sometimes they come back with a big piece of stick in their beaks, their nests. I've noticed these little chicks, they're growing up and they're starting to fly or flutter between branches sometimes. They're strengthening their wings, getting ready to leave the nest. They've also got to learn to watch the water below them to see what they could eat that might be swimming by, so they can catch them when they leave the nests later on. They're so ungainly the way they just balance on those branches. And there's the corellas, they're so noisy. They're chasing the fruit that's growing on those trees. You've got the cormorant, the egret and the ibis again. That nest in the middle there with the adult has been feeding its chicks. All of those nests on the ground are remarkably safe because they're so far in the middle of the lake that anything that walks on land would have difficulty getting to them. We've just got to watch what's coming out of the water. There's plenty of hungry eels in that lake. All of those cormorants are sitting in the trees directly at those nests that are on the ground there. That's a dusky moorhen there swimming there in front of the egrets, and there's a tortoise on a rock. It looks like quite a large tortoise today. Sometimes we have a whole pile of smaller tortoises on that rock, but there's only one tortoise there today. Now I've walked around to the other side of the trees where the egrets are, and look at all the egrets on this side of the tree. They're mostly cattle egrets, I think. I spotted at least one ibis in there as well. And look, there's some tortoises swimming underwater. The bark of this tree is very soft and papery and it peels off easily. I think it somehow protects the tree in the fires. This is a public barbecue area. There's two barbecues in that silvery metal thing in the middle there. I think they're electric and free to use. Table there, no, that blue thing on the left is a water fountain, and inside the shed there's about 4 or 5 more tables with seats. And there is a noisy miner having a look at the people sitting inside that shed. Didn't see many birds today because I walked down to where the egrets were and then came back again. So that's it. I hope you've enjoyed the video. Please give it a like if you have, and thank you for watching, and I'll see you in the next video. Bye bye for now.